Because many times you can have people on your team and on your side who have the intellectual ability to do what you're trying to get them to do, but they do not have the emotional wherewithal, and you don't know it till you get on the ride.
I could not be more excited about this episode here with you. So look, we're listening right now to Pastor T.D. Jakes, Bishop T.D. Jakes. And whether you've listened to his sermons before, man, I want you to focus today on his leadership principles. This is some next level stuff. I mean, I'm someone who, since I was 12 years old, I've been leading small teams and always just drawn to leadership. Maybe that's you as well, where you're like, man, I've known since being a kid that I was called to lead other people and that I just loved it. I gained energy from the thought of leadership and connecting with people and building better teams, right? If that's you, you are in the right place today. Iconic Influence is the world's first adventure-based leadership podcast, and you're about to go on this adventure with me. We're not just studying the leaders, we're actually going to unlock new solutions for you as well.
What you want to know is, can you handle the down ride? Do you turn into somebody else when things start getting crazy? Do you have the emotional maturity, the EQ, emotional quotient, to go through the highs and the lows of what it takes to be successful? Because if you're going to be successful, you learn from the lows how to ride on the highs. So if you can't take the dip, you can't take the climb. You have to have the emotional wherewithal to go on the journey and to be comfortable and to remain cool in a crisis. Not lose your head, not freak out, even though you want to. You can do it on the inside. You can be like a screaming 6-year-old girl on the inside, but on the outside, you have to maintain your cool. Because there is nothing as frightening as a frightened leader.
I'm going to bring you right back into what we talked about in episode 1. If you haven't listened to episode 1, go take a listen to it after this, but I'm going to help you right now. We have what's called the Blue Sky Strategy here at Kingdom Operatives. And the Blue Sky Strategy consists of 3 specializations. If you've heard this before, it's a reminder for you, okay? The first specialization is command presence. And command presence is about being a leader that attracts other people to you. This is not about going and chasing. A lot of people talk about chasing success and chasing results. No. As kingdom entrepreneurs, we want to attract this. We want to be a magnet that pulls things towards us because we're in proper alignment of who we are. All right, so check this out. One thing that T.D. Jakes was talking about is he's talking about what does it mean for a leader to respond to crisis. Dr. John C. Maxwell also talks about this, and he says a leader is revealed during crisis. The character of a leader is revealed during crisis. A lot of us, we're experiencing crisis all around us, but can you be the calm in the storm? That's what I want you to focus on right now. In the military, we emphasize this consistently, that you must be the calm for other people. Your character will be revealed during crisis. If things are going great right now, are you at the top of a mountain? Well, honestly, once you're at the top, it's not that hard, is it, to stay there? But it's the climb that makes you stronger. One thing I always like to say to people I work with, as I said, learning is in the climb. The learning is in the climb. You can go study consistently what gear to bring for a hike. You can go find the best boots ever. You can research what trails to take. But once you start climbing, that's when you know what you really need next time. Now, see, the thing is, you're already going, but you're learning in that process. Let's say you're going to climb a 14,000 foot mountain, right? You might go 2,000 feet up, realize, man, I do not have what I need. Go a little bit further, turn around, go get the right gear next time and do it again. See, the learning is in the climb. It's not in memorizing. It's not in studying. It's in doing. That's why here at Kingdom Operatives, at the Iconic Influence, we don't just want you to learn. We want you to apply, to use what T.D. Jakes is talking about here, right? And you heard it from him, so I don't need to hit on it too much harder. But this is something that you can practice. The specialization of command presence overall is all about being that leader that attracts other people to you. And the reason people want to follow you is because you are the calm in the storm. When everything's going crazy, they look to you and they say, that person's not freaking out right now. And then you learn how to lead them with different principles such as compassionate candor, which is where you're actually saying, here's what's really going on, but I'm moved with compassion to tell you this so that you yourself can get stronger and better. Let's listen to our next clip.
The best thing to do with bad news is to deliver a clear, accurate, concise message. A clear, accurate, concise message. Hello, AT&T, I cannot pay you. I will pay you next month, next year, 6 months. Clear messaging creates clear expectation, which avoids disappointment. People can handle bad news if they can trust your message. This is what happened. This is how we're going to handle it. And we are sorry. Bada boom, bada bang. But if you don't give clear messaging, united. Who said that? If you don't give clear messaging, you got to do damage control over and over and over again as people lose their heads and freak out. It is not what happens to you that matters. It is how you handle it. Are you getting what I'm saying?
So how do you deliver bad news? Right there, you just heard from one of the greats, one of the icons in our industries, in our enterprises, right? I mean, this guy knows what he's talking about. T.D. Jakes has multiple companies. He's extremely wealthy. And he didn't do that by accident. He learned these skills, in particular, this skill of communication and delivering bad news. You know, in the military, we constantly had these situations where something was going wrong. And instead of freaking out and trying to give this entire explanation of what went wrong, it's more important to say, here's what's going wrong, here's what we're going to do about it, and I'll update you after that happens. See, this is how you learn as a company commander to brief your battalion commander. So for myself, I had about 90 soldiers. A battalion commander has 500 plus soldiers, right? And we're within that battalion. And, you know, I had a tendency to want to explain quite a bit. I don't know if you've noticed that about me, but I love to communicate. I love to talk, right? And sometimes I have this big story that I want to be able to share with someone, but they don't have time for that. As leaders, we must not only be effective at this ourselves, but we need to be effective with the people who report to us, teaching them what we're looking for. So one thing that I've done is I've improved to where I just realized, what does this person really need to know? And that's called the bottom line up front. Here's the bottom line up front. This is truly what's going on. Now that you know that, now if you have more questions, I'd be happy to share with you what happened. That's what I want you to get used to as a leader, especially as a kingdom-minded entrepreneur, is to start realizing people don't have a lot of time anymore. So just give them the bluff, the bottom line up front. And this is really important because when you do that, most people you're going to find go, okay, cool, sounds good. Others might have more questions. So you could always lead it. So you could always end this bottom line up front by saying, if you have other questions, please let me know. Or if you want to know how we got here, I'd be happy to share with you that story. Here's what's happening. We're doing layoffs right now. And I didn't see this coming, but here's what we're doing about that. And I'll update you tomorrow with more information. Took you 2 minutes. See, what happens is most leaders, they don't really focus on building the second specialization of the Blue Sky strategy, which is situational awareness. So they're not aware of what's going on around them, and they're not actually taking the time, just these couple little minutes here and there, to be able to update people, to allow them to build their situational awareness. See, that's what people want. They just want clarity from you, and they want to know that you know where we're going. You might not have all the answers yet, but can you give me a little bit of a plan? So I hope that helps you. Let's go into our final clip.
Success creates strain. It challenges your ability to grow and to evolve. The very thing that you're here to get is the very thing that's going to drive you nuts. It's strain, the strain of winning, the strain of getting more response than you expected, the strain of getting the deal. I got the deal. Can you handle it? You can't handle the deal. Excuse me, there's 5 people standing up here. Success strain. When you win, it strains you. Stress is an indicator. It's a benefit. It's a favor. It lets you know you're at your limits. It does not mean that you cannot do it, but it does mean you have to change something. Anytime there is stress, you have to change structure or strategy. Whenever I am stressed out, it is an indication that I don't have the strategy or the structure for where I'm at, and that stress is a warning bell that you need to reboot, recalibrate, and either change your structure or your strategy for what's about to happen in your life. I'm gonna spend my last few minutes helping you to look at that strategy, that structure. I'm from West Virginia. We had a silver bridge in West Virginia. The bridge collapsed. People died. It was a horrible experience. And when they did research in it, they said the bridge collapsed because of stress. That means whoever designed the bridge did not plan for the weight of winning. And I want you to take into serious consideration the weight of winning. Because if you don't, once you get up there, just through the pressure of winning, you didn't build in the structure and the strategy to handle it. And stress is going to be your warning bell going off at 2 o'clock in the morning as you're looking out the window in the middle of the night that you need to change. You can't have 7 kids in one car. Even though you can have the baby, you don't have the structure to handle the trip. So now you have to add that kind of infrastructure. And I want you to think, since you're probably going to be working with limited people, you got big dreams but limited budget, and you've got a lot of people, a small amount of people to handle. Are they tough enough? Do they have the structure to handle the stress of winning?
Yeah, so success strain. I remember when I heard this, I was like, I have to share this with you. And the reason is, I think a lot of people don't really prepare for the life that they're saying they want to have. I know for me in particular, I've seen a lot of people that I've worked with one-on-one, through different consulting sessions, who they have these huge dreams, and they're not seeing this current moment as the training ground for that. If you had 100,000 customers, are you ready for them? If you had $100 million, do you know what you would do with it? See, this is all about our third specialization within the Blue Sky strategy, which is called mission readiness. There was a time when we received this information from a high-level leader in the military, and they said, hey, you need to be prepared right now. Prepare your unit for a possible deployment. It could happen in the next 72 hours. And basically, the way it was spoken to me, it was pretty much certain. Like, this is going to happen. Now get ready. And that's called mission readiness. The mission has not started yet, but what can you do now to be ready for that? There's some things that the military considered one of the highest priorities for the entire, in this case, it was the Army. And guess what it was? Mission readiness. The health of our soldiers, the fitness of our soldiers, the paperwork that needed to be completed. Everything was related to that soldier being ready to go, ready to mobilize, mission readiness. And what we're hearing TD Jakes talk about, it's all about success strain, that success is going to put weight on you. Have you built that bridge that's needed to hold that? Have you thought long term? And I know the one thing he said here that I thought was just total gold brought me back to a talk that I heard from TD Jakes probably about 3 or 4 years ago, which he said, obscurity is God's way of protecting you before you're revealed. That was a game changer for me because I don't know about you, but I've always been ambitious. I've always been driven. I've always wanted a lot of success at a young age. And I had early accomplishments. I was a company commander at 27 years old. I started flying helicopters at like 24, I believe it was, and flying planes at 12. So wanted to throw that one in there for you real quick. But you're probably like me in different arenas, right? And the one thing he talked about is obscurity is a way of protecting you. He mentioned, unfortunately, children and how, if a child is born too early before that 9 months, right? 9 months in the womb, that their risk has increased and they might not survive. Unfortunately, my first child I never got to meet. right? We had a miscarriage. And by the way, I hate that word. I don't know about you, but to me, it's like, no, it wasn't a miscarriage. It was after 3 months, we lost a child that we were planning on the whole time. And everything for that person has now been taken away from them before they were born. So to us, we lost a child. And, I share that with you because I really believe there's someone listening today who that might be the story for you. And unfortunately, we live in a hard world. There really are broken systems and broken people, broken processes. It's not perfect by any means. And in those moments, you grit your teeth and you decide to move forward regardless of what just happened. Man, allow yourself to feel the grief. This is just, something that we did. We allowed ourselves to feel the grief. We were in a lot of pain. And then I began to realize that the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy, and that Christ came to give us life and life abundantly. So that means that we are the attack of the kingdom. We will spread with peace, joy, and righteousness. We will give other people love. Regardless of what's going on in the world, they will experience the goodness of God because the goodness of God will allow them to turn from the way they are thinking and come back to Him. So, a little preaching for you right there, but I'm telling you, that was just really on my heart just now. And let's close out this episode with this. Okay, so yes, God protects us in obscurity, and sometimes we want things so fast we can outpace Him. I know for me in particular, again, I was running ahead of Christ, and I thought, well, that just meant I wanted to move faster than Him. And He's saying, no, come back and follow me. And as you follow me, I'll take you through the valleys. I'll take you through the darkness. I'll help you climb this mountain, and I'll show you the best way to do it and the pace that I need you on in order to get there at the right moment. So there's a really cool episode I have from the Leadership Accelerator podcast that I'm going to link below. And we talk about what do you do when God puts you in a holding pattern. And for some reason, that also is on my heart for you today. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. Feel free to listen to that, share it with someone else. A lot of people feel like they're stuck. This is actually some really key stuff that I've learned as a pilot that helped me begin to see what God does when we feel stuck. So that being said, let's close out this episode with this. Charlie. The phonetic alphabet sounds like this. Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Foxtrot, okay? That's A, B, C, D, E, F, G if you didn't catch, right? I know I didn't get G in, but you get what I'm saying. I want you to know Charlie today. C, the letter C. So look, hopefully by now you've learned that you're going to get a lot of information here and it's going to help you as a leader. So I want you to keep some type of notes on your computer, on your phone, wherever you take notes. And you need to start keeping track of these code letters and code words that I'm going to give you because they're going to unlock things that only you will receive. Only you who stay consistent and do the work. We're going to reward you with special trainings that we won't release to anyone else, and it's not going to cost you anything other than your energy and attention right now. And the reason we want to do that is we want to incentivize those leaders who understand that what we put inside of us can flow out of us, that our gifts are to us, but not for us, that what I have, I can give to you. And if that's you, remember Charlie. And I'll see you on episode 3, where we're going to study Layla Hormozi. Continue mission.